People threw coins at him, but nobody ever looked into his eyes. Every night, a little beggar boy slept hungry on the cold street, dreaming of a life he could never touch. But one day, something happened that changed his entire life forever. A rich man stopped his car, looked at the poor boy, and asked only one question. Do you want money? Or do you want a chance to change your life? What the boy answered made everyone cry. Stay until the end, because this emotional story will teach you that even the poorest person can become successful. The success of a beggar emotional English story. On a cold, rainy evening, a little boy named Adam sat near a traffic signal in New York City. His clothes were dirty and torn. His small hands trembled from the freezing wind. Please help me. I'm hungry, he whispered to the people walking by. But nobody cared. Some ignored him. Some insulted him. Others looked away as if he didn't exist. Adam had no parents, no home, no friends. Every night, he slept under an old broken bridge with only a thin blanket beside him. But despite his painful life, Adam had one dream. He wanted to study. Whenever he saw children going to school with bags on their shoulders, his eyes filled with tears. I wish I could study like them, he sighed softly. One night, Adam found an old book in the trash. It was dirty and wet, but he carefully cleaned every page. From SETI, he started teaching himself English by reading that broken book under the streetlight every night. People laughed at him. A beggar wants education. You will always stay poor. But Adam never gave up. Days turned into months. Every night after begging for food, he studied alone under the dim streetlight. One evening, a black luxury car stopped near the signal. A rich businessman named Mr. Jonathan noticed Adam reading a book while other beggars were sleeping. Curious, he walked toward him. Why are you studying? The rich man asked. Adam slowly stood up and replied, because Auntie Wanova. Those words shocked the businessman. Mr. Jonathan sat beside the little boy and asked, If you had money, what would you do first? Adam smiled sadly. I would buy books. Not food. The businessman became emotional. The next morning, he returned and took Adam to a nearby school. For the first time in his life, Adam entered a classroom. He was scared. His clothes were old. Other students laughed at him, but Adam ignored them. He studied day and night. Years passed. Adam became one of the brightest students in the city. He worked hard every single day because he never forgot the pain of sleeping hungry on the streets. After many years, Adam graduated from university with top honors. The same people who once ignored him now clapped proudly for him. But the story does not end there. Adam became a successful businessman. He bought a large building in the city. Do you know what he turned it into? A free school for homeless children. One day, a reporter asked him, Why did you build this school? Adam smiled with tears in his eyes and answered, Because one kind person gave me a chance. And I want to give that chance to others. At the opening ceremony, hundreds of poor children entered the school happily. Adam looked at the sky and whispered, Mom, Dad, your son is no longer a beggar. And, for the first time in many years, He cried tears of happiness after opening the free school. Adam's life became famous across the country. Television channels invited him for interviews. Newspapers called him the beggar who changed thousands of lives. But Adam never felt proud of his success, because deep inside, he still remembered the cold nights, sehunga, and the pain of being ignored by society. Every morning, before going to his office, Adam visited the school personally. He greeted every child with a smile. One small boy named Daniel always stayed quiet in the corner of the classroom. He never talked to anyone. One day, Adam sat beside him and asked softly, "Why are you always alone?" The little boy lowered his head. "Because my father says poor people can never become successful." Those words broke Adam's heart. He gently placed his hand on the boy's shoulder and said, "Listen carefully. I was once poorer than you." Daniel looked shocked. "You?" he asked. Adam smiled. "Yes, I slept on the streets. I begged for food. People insulted me every day." The little boy's eyes became wide with surprise. "Then, how did you become rich?" Adam looked toward the classroom window and answered slowly. "Success begins the day you stop believing that you are weak." Those words changed Daniel forever. Months later, Adam received an invitation to speak at a big university. Thousands of students filled the hall. Everyone waited quietly as Adam walked onto the stage. He looked at the crowd and began speaking. "When I was a child, people saw me as a beggar. But nobody knew that inside me, there was a dream." The entire hall became silent. Adam continued, "The world may judge your clothes, bani, or your appearance, but never let the world decide your future." Suddenly, a student stood up and asked, "Did you ever hate rich people because of your suffering?" Adam smiled gently. "No, I only hated hopelessness." The students started clapping loudly. Then Adam told them something he had never shared before. "There was a time when I wanted to end my life." The hall became completely silent. One winter night, I had no food for 3 days. I was sick and weak. I sat alone under the bridge crying. I looked at the sky and asked God, why was I born? But then I saw a little girl sharing her bread with another homeless child. She had almost nothing, yet she still helped someone else. That moment changed me forever. I realized, even poor people can give hope. Many students started crying after hearing his story. After the speech, an old man slowly walked toward Adam. The man's eyes were filled with tears. "Do you remember me?" he asked. Adam looked carefully and suddenly froze. It was the same police officer who used to chase him away from the streets years ago. The old officer lowered his head in shame. "I treated you badly," he whispered. "I'm sorry." For a moment, Adam stayed silent. Then he smiled warmly and hugged the old man. "Your words made me stronger," Adam replied. The officer began crying. "I never imagined that little beggar boy would become such a great man." Adam answered softly, "A person's future should never be judged by their present condition." One rainy evening, Adam returned to the old bridge where he once slept. The place looked exactly the same. Cold wind, dark streets, homeless people sitting silently. Adam slowly walked toward a young boy begging near the road. The child looked weak and frightened. "What is your name?" Adam asked kindly. "Ryan," the boy replied. "Do you go to school?" The child shook his head. "I work all day for food." Adam's eyes filled with tears because he saw his younger self in that little boy. He held the boy's hand and smiled. "Come with me," said Night. For the second time in his life, Adam changed someone's destiny. Years later, Adam's free schools spread across many cities. Thousands of homeless children received education, food, and hope. Some became doctors. Some became teachers. Others became engineers. And every child knew one thing. Their lives changed because a beggar once refused to give up. One evening, Adam stood on the roof of his building watching the sunset. Mr. Jonathan, the businessman who once helped him, stood beside him proudly. "You made me proud, son," the old man said. Adam smiled emotionally. "No," Adam replied softly. "You saved my life." The old man looked at him and said, "No, Adam. You saved yourself the day you chose hope instead of surrender." Tears rolled down Adam's face as he looked at the city lights. Because deep inside, he knew the greatest success was not becoming rich. The greatest success was becoming the reason someone else smiles again. Final moral: never underestimate anyone. A poor child with a strong dream can change the entire world. Kindness can save a life. And hope can create miracles.